Live from Hazard, Kentucky, this is Jammin' John's Wrestling News. Here's your news for Friday, January 11th, 2019. Dave Meltzer of F4WOnline.com is reporting that WWE has been planning to have John Cena face Lars Sullivan at Wrestlemania 35, but there is apparently an issue with Sullivan. Meltzer noted that Sullivan was actually scheduled to debut on the main roster, likely in a dark match, at this week's Raw taping, but either didn't show up at the arena or did and then left the building. It was believed that Sullivan suffered an anxiety attack. The WWE reportedly talked things out with Sullivan, and then he was scheduled to have a dark match the next day at the SmackDown Live tapings. However, Sullivan once again did not show up for the match and apparently flew back to his home in Colorado. At this time, it's unknown how WWE will handle the situation. Sullivan was scheduled for a major push, and the speculation was that an angle to set up the match was going to happen at the Royal Rumble. And with an update on Lars Sullivan, Brian Alvarez of F4WOnline.com commented on the report that Lars Sullivan did not attend this week's WWE television tapings due to having an apparent anxiety attack. Brian Alvarez said, "I was told that the company was very understanding and accommodating, and that's all I know. So hopefully everything works out for Lars, and he shows up on Monday to start his main roster journey, where he is scheduled to have a very big match at this year's WrestleMania." Thanks to RingsideNews.com for the quote. I want to send good vibes and well wishes out to Lars Sullivan. I've been suffering from anxiety ever since I was a kid, and it is a very, very horrible thing to have. I do not wish it on my worst enemy. So Lars, I hope you're doing alright, man. Dave Meltzer of F4WOnline.com also provided some details regarding the launch of All Elite Wrestling, and here are some highlights. The promotion is negotiating with two major cable networks for a live weekly 2-hour show in primetime. Even though the promotion trademarked the term Tuesday Night Dynamite, a Tuesday time slot seems unlikely at this time. The Double or Nothing pay-per-view is expected to air on pay-per-view and will be available for streaming. The second show, which will take place in Jacksonville, is expected to happen in July. There is also a third show expected to take place in Chicago in September, which would be the promotion's anniversary. Ryan Barkin, the president of Pro Wrestling Tees, will be involved with the promotion's merchandise production, and Chris Harrington, who analyzes wrestling finances and business, has been hired as the head of business development. Also, Dave Meltzer of F4WOnline.com reported that Triple H worked hard in an effort to sign the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes, and Hangman Page. Triple H allegedly had around 12 hours of talks with the Young Bucks. Now, Page was reportedly offered main roster money to work NXT and would have been pushed as one of the brand's top stars. The Young Bucks were reportedly offered a deal that would have been for a similar amount of money as AJ Styles, and Being the Elite would have become a regular series on the WWE Network. In addition to that, Meltzer said, as well as something I've never heard WWE concede on, which was a 6-month window where they would have left their 3-year contract if they wanted and weren't happy with their push. It appears that WWE had plans for the Young Bucks, with them debuting at the Royal Rumble and having a significant storyline for WrestleMania 35. The reaction from people within WWE was that it was mind-boggling that the Bucks would not only be offered a deal of that magnitude, but also that they would actually turn down the offer. And speaking of turning down, the current belief is that Kenny Omega has already turned down a WWE offer. Once Omega's New Japan Pro Wrestling contract expires on February the 1st, it's expected that he will be signing with All Elite Wrestling. Also, Dave Meltzer of F4WOnline.com reported that Chris Jericho has a 3-year deal with AEW, and it's an exclusive contract with a few exceptions. Jericho will still be allowed to work with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he'll still be able to do his cruises. Despite what Jericho recently said about not joining AEW for the money, Meltzer added that the reality is that he was offered a significantly better contract by AEW than what he had ever earned with WWE, and they still left him free for very lucrative Big Show New Japan paydays. During his recent podcast, former WWE star Road Warrior Animal talked about the launch of All Elite Wrestling by saying, "That's another show that, Cody being a part of All In, they asked me to be on in the spring. And I don't know if that's going to be with the NWA or that's going to be with Elite, but either way, I'll be excited to do that show too. It's great to see a company opening that's going back to basics and doing what's right in pro wrestling, giving the fans what they expect to see. not having to do a big ceremonial, we'll give you what you want to see and then do what we want to do anyway. This is really about what the fans need to see. Roll Your Animal continued on by saying, they got a great product and I think I'd help them enhance their product with my wrestling knowledge in the tag team industry especially, and I think I could be a good addition other than anything else. Thanks to WrestlingInc.com for the quotes. During an interview with ABC 15 in Arizona, WWE Champion Daniel Bryan teased that superstars could be having special entrances at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Daniel Bryan said, "It's an incredible stadium, and we were actually just talking about what the metamorphosis would look like. Right now, the thought is that we come out of the dugout. We've never had a Royal Rumble at a baseball stadium before. I'm super psyched. I've never come out of a dugout to go to a wrestling show before, so I think it would be exciting." Dave Meltzer of F4WOnline.com is reporting that, as of right now, Vince McMahon accepted a creative pitch to have Ronda Rousey face both Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 35. Once Vince decided to go with the match, the WWE scrapped the planned Ronda vs. Charlotte rematch for the Royal Rumble and put Sasha Banks in Charlotte's spot instead. Meltzer also noted that with two more pay-per-view events, the Elimination Chamber and Fastlane, prior to WrestleMania, the WWE could change plans and a Ronda vs. Charlotte singles match could still take place. And speaking of Becky Lynch, she was recently awarded Pro Wrestling Illustrated's Woman of the Year award, and I can't think of a better deserving person than Becky Lynch. Why? Because she's the man. And finally, here on Jammin' John's Wrestling News, it is now time to announce the results of our latest special subscriber poll. Even though the rumor is going around that Kenny Omega has turned down the WWE, there's still a lot of speculation about where he will end up at. So this week's special subscriber poll was, where do you think Kenny Omega will end up at? WWE, New Japan Pro Wrestling, All Elite Wrestling, Impact, Ring of Honor, or another promotion? And with 2 votes, it's WWE. Patreon subscriber Ryan Hurdle commented and said, I think they'll give him the AJ treatment. And I definitely agree with that. You know, if he was to go to the WWE, I think he would get the AJ Styles treatment. He was offered apparently a very, very lucrative contract by the WWE. I've always heard over the years that if Kenny Omega was to go to the WWE and they were to offer him like an NXT-like contract where he would wrestle on NXT, he would turn that down, and I can understand that. But where Kenny Omega is so well known outside the WWE and so many WWE wrestlers know who he is, including John Cena, I think he would get the AJ Styles treatment if he was to go there. But it's all up to him on what he wants to do. If he goes to WWE, I think that would be very great for his career. If he was to go to All Elite Wrestling, it would be great for his career as well. So either way, I think it's a win-win for Kenny Omega. It's all what he wants to do. But I could see him in WWE definitely as a surprise entrant at the Royal Rumble and then trying to go after the WWE Championship. That would be awesome. That is your news for Friday, January 11th, 2019. Check back here Monday for another Jammin' John's Wrestling News Flash Briefing on Amazon Alexa devices, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, and iTunes. Follow me on Twitter at John Caldwell, JONCOLWELL. Follow me on Instagram, The Jammin' John. If you'd like to sponsor Jammin' John's Wrestling News, or you're a wrestling promotion wanting to get your next big event out, you can email me, jzcaldwell@gmail.com. That's JZCOLWELL@gmail.com. Big shout out to Ryan Hurdle and Tony Nelson for subscribing to my Patreon. You too can subscribe to me by going to patreon.com/jamminjohn. I have free packages on there ranging from free to $7. Not a whole lot of money. I would really appreciate it if you supported me a little bit financially. Once again, that's patreon.com/jamminjohn. This is Jammin' John saying thanks, goodbye, and have a great weekend, everybody.